Good morning. I am gonna try do a vlog today, filming on my phone because I'm actually using all of my cameras. Currently unloading my truck, have most everything out of here. I am filming a two-person interview, and normally I'd be doing that on my Sony FX6s. However, they're all being serviced right now. So I'm shooting this on the new Sony A1 Mark IIs and my FX3, because those are the cameras I have. But I figured I'd just take you along and show you the process of how I'm setting up this interview. I'm filming in a old historic kind of church on a historic campus, and one of the things they're going to talk about in this interview is the Underground Railroad, because this was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad. Lots of traffic. This is one of the stops on the Underground Railroad, and it is really interesting. So I figured I'd take you along. Okay, we're inside. Let me show you what we're working with. I have my lovely production cart right here, which I absolutely love. It's by Innovative. Amazing. I'm filming, this is again on a college campus, so being able to roll things around is fantastic. This is the area that we're filming in, this main sanctuary auditorium area. Really super cool architecture. There's the organ back there, and they're gonna be sitting approximately right here. I just kind of set those chairs as guides. I have two Matthews combo stands with these Matthews boom arms right here. If I was going to use heavier lights, I probably would be using a Menace arm. However, I'm using my really super light Intelitech lights, so I think that these booms are sufficient. Let me know in the comments below if you think they actually are sufficient or if I should be beefier. They're gonna work for today. The plan is that we're gonna set up 3 cameras, 1 wide and 2 tights. And that's pretty much it. It's a very simple setup, but I think that it's gonna look good. I have a couple extra little things. I have my big Intelitech light mat that I might set up as a fill here, depending on how bright the background gets with this window. The sun actually is supposed to be coming straight across here, so I'm not super worried about direct sunlight, but there is an actual reflection over here that I can't really control. So the best bet, I think, is to just add light to bring the ambience up. So I have a decent amount of light. The ambient in here is not bad at all. However, I have some fill that I could bring up them because they're relatively in a darker area than up there. I also have a little nan light Forza 60B, I think it is, which I might use to add a little bit of fill. No, not fill. Also, what is that? There we go. No, we're still getting some veiling flare. I have a nan light Forza 60B that I'll use possibly as a little bit of rim light if this area over here is too bright compared to this area here. We're just gonna kind of see what happens. Okay, so we've got power to both of those lights. I'm gonna go turn on both of them and see what it looks like. And I'm gonna start setting up some cameras, and I think we'll go from there. Okay, what am I using for cameras? I think I said it before, but I'm using the Sony A1 Mark IIs, and I'm also using my FX3. So here is the Sony A1. It has the 24-70 on it right now. I don't think I'm gonna use that on the tight cameras. I think my thought is because both close-ups are A1s and they're different camera models, so they're not gonna match exactly, even though they're gonna be really close. I'm gonna do the wide on the FX3. I'm gonna do both tights on the A1s. And actually the really cool thing is I'm gonna monitor all of these angles on the monitor and control app on my iPad. So let's set this up. Okay, so that all happened really fast. I'm so sorry I didn't get to show you guys the rest of all of this setup. I had talent show up and I kind of needed to be ready to go right away. So I'm just gonna give you a walkthrough, a breakdown of actually what's here and how I ended up setting it up, and then I'll show a couple frames. I think that'll be it for the video this week. Let's go look at how I set this up. All right, so right here we have the Sony FX3. I ended up going with the 24-70, and we are actually shooting at about 35 millimeter at 2.8. And I ended up zooming in just a little bit to give some nice separation with this organ. I didn't want to go too low to be super underneath the eye line. I was definitely underneath the eye line for this angle, but it's not, I think, horrible. Then I have the IntelliTech lights here that are above and slightly behind, just a little bit of backlight from them. I didn't put grids on them because I wanted them to kind of spill quite a bit. Over here, I have my Nan light. I think it's a 60B. I think I said that before. And it is bare bulb with no cone or anything. I really wanted it to kind of do two things. I wanted it to be a backlight on the person sitting here, but I also wanted it to really add some extra fill to this area. The issue is over here, we have a lot of light coming through this window that I don't have control over. The light shifts quite a bit as clouds are passing the sun, so it'll get quite a bit brighter in here and then it'll get a lot darker in here. And so I really wanted the core pieces, because I can't really control all of the light for this room, I wanted the core pieces of this room to be consistent. And so I kind of had to make a little bit of a compromise. If I had been able to scout this room beforehand, I probably would have brought a different light, maybe something similar to another Mega light cloth. Unfortunately, this is all I had. And so this needed to function both as the backlight and also as some ambient. And this brings me to why the Mega light cloth is set up over there. I needed it to also function as a backlight and ambient. Now, if I walk over this direction, you can see that, let's see, over here, there's a lot more light coming through this side than this side. It's quite a bit darker over here. So what in turn that means is that the area over here has a lot more light hitting it than the background area over here. Again, we're thinking about how my camera, which here's my other, this is the Sony A1 with the 70-200 on it. This right here, let's see if I can get some exposure to sit there. This right here, I would love for it to be a little bit brighter on this side of the room. I was only really able to add that light from the Mega light cloth. If I turn the Mega light cloth off, I'll actually do that really quick. You'll be able to see how this area gets a lot darker. Let's just turn it off. So the ambient on this side gets a whole lot darker without that light on, which I was having trouble, balancing. Here, you can see it here. Let's get our focus. It's much more contrasty. There's not as much fill in this area. So when I add this light back in, it helps balance out both of the frames, which I think is really helpful for making sure that they match. So it's a little bit of a compromise. It's not exactly the best way to do this, but I used what I had. I really wasn't able to scout this location beforehand, so I didn't super know what I was getting myself into. But I think I'm really happy with how the frames were able to turn out. I had about 2 hours to be able to set up, so it was a decent amount of time, but I did have to be very conscious and intentional about how I set everything up. So I'm gonna show you these frames, and I think that will be the end of this video. So here's the wide angle. You can see that it is nice and bright on the back with the shadow side towards the camera. And then here are the close-ups. Again, I think this really works well for the type of interview that we were filming. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this video was helpful. It was a real-world two-person interview with just me, myself, and I as the crew. If this video inspired you to create something, comment down below, smash that like button, and stop watching this video and start making something. I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next one.